Hello. Testing. Who's there? What's up, Thomas, Michael, Hartzer, and everyone else? So, I have a question. Is Sheep Thief here? First question. Hey, Sheep Thief is here. Cool. What's up, dude? Is it allowed to have beer? Yes, I just poured some whiskey for myself, so oh, I ate way too much. I'm gonna be need something to get me going because my body wants to shut down after those burgers. Oh, what kind? Bushmills, Black Label. It's pretty nice stuff. All right, here I want to show you this. I want to show you this chess game that I played just right now. Ripstream? No Ripstream. Still here. Sheep Thief, we're gonna review your replay that you sent to me. Sheep Thief is a patron on Patreon, so he's asked for another review, and of course he's entitled to it. Chess stream. Just for a moment, we're gonna look at. I just want to show you this dumb bullet game. Really, none of this is interesting. But the ending is funny. Let's see. It's bullets, so it's lots of random moves. He misclicked, so he tried to castle here, but he misclicked. You don't get takebacks in bullet games, obviously, so he just keeps running to the corner. Open up the F file. Random moves. And then well, what is this move? What is that supposed to achieve? And he takes and checkmate. It's a poor king. Has nowhere to go and no pieces to block. I don't know, it's just a funny mate, really. Now, that's all the chess. Chess stream accomplished. Now let's look at the replay. 7 versus 30. Yeah, I'm not I'm not good at time management. Right. Let me find the replay for in St. Louis. There's a whole there's a big chess club there now, isn't there? I think. Okay. If that dude learned to castle, he would have flagged you. Yeah, well, if he didn't mouse slip, you know, then. Excuse me? Oh, I have. Oh, whoops. Have a certain mod on here that I need to remove by accident. I have on. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Let's try again. What mod is this? Replay max sim speed. I thought you'd know about it since you're a mod. It's really for moderators. I also have another I also have another mod that is for moderators. It's this, see this here? For example. Well, this is just pause replay at whatever time you put in here. It's up 70%. Oh, you don't see it, okay. This up here. Enter time and the game will pause at that time. Mod application, no, I don't think so. Yeah, pause at time works fine. What's up, Niall? It's outside that new chest place, cool. Unfortunately, I'm only ever scouting them with the ACU. with scouting mercies with the ACU, I see. What mod is that? This is a different one. This is pause replay at a time, and the other one is replay max sim speed or something. That's what it's called. Pause replay at time, I believe, is that this one. What's up, Saf? Alright, so Sheep Thief is the man who has been generously donating via Patreon, and one of them. And he is playing Twin Rivers at 744. So let's see what we got. I'd say it's quite a lot of labs, but it's not totally unreasonable. Maybe instead of these two labs, a mantis, I don't know. But it's kind of okay. I think you'd want a mantis somewhere in here. Towards this end of the build queue. Not obviously not earlier on, but you know. I'd stick a mantis in there somewhere. That'd be the first thing, anyway. So let's see, where did the engineers go? Okay. First engineer gets some reclaim and expands to the left, or this way. Next engineer goes to get reclaim in the middle. And you send a lab to defend him. Fair enough. So this engineer, we can see obviously took a big walk over here. So you can use the, you can do better with the rally point. You can move the rally point around so that you avoid you know, wasting time walking. So, you know, it's fine. It was fine to have it here because, you know, you put it here because the first engineer is going to go here and reclaim, and then you could place the next, then you could change the rally point when he comes out to here. Then you could change the rally point to here for the next engineer, for example. Otherwise, if you don't want to do that, then you just have to be quicker with grabbing things as they exit the factory. Because here your rally point kind of wasted a lot of time. This engineer walked a fair bit and then came back, so that's not great. Something to improve. A lot of manual reclaim there. Okay. So this lab is quite idle, so now he's on the move. And another lab here. So I think if you want to defend, I think if you make labs, you should send them across the map, right? And not to defend your expansion. Okay? That would be the first thing. So say this lab, right? He gets to here a long time ago. Just send him forward. Keep going forward. The next lab can also come on this path and defend the engineer. But the labs need to be going across the map. They're not good at, they're not made to defend against raids. They're made to do the raiding. 4 labs. I mean, 4 labs is probably a little bit much. I agree, 4 labs is a bit too much. But more importantly is if you do make them, how to use them. So send them across the map. So, you know, Get a lab here, attack this engineer. Labs to the mid to defend here is fine. Why is 4 labs too much? Well, we'll see what they accomplish in the game. What's up, Cameron? My Friday is going well, I would say. It's going well. I think it's too much because, especially, well, if you make units, you're gonna be slower to, you know, expand. Slower, okay. Slower to take mass extractors, which means you're gonna have a worse eco. So, if they don't accomplish anything, so right now, for example, you're overflowing. And we got some idle factory here. And I think really what's happened is, yeah, I guess there's a bit of mismanagement here. So the main problem is that you're not ready for the mass that you're getting. So you have, like, this guy's reclaiming, right? He's gotten reclaim here. You got reclaim here. This guy was reclaiming as well. And you had the front engineer reclaiming. So that's just, you know, it's too many engineers reclaiming, basically. Very simply, and not enough buildings. So if, for example, instead of these 2 labs, right, you had another engineer, you would not have this overflow problem. So that's why 4 labs is too much here, because you can't actually, you get to middle and you can't even reclaim because you're going to, you know, overflow. So this engineer, his job is not, it doesn't make sense for him to do that. If you're going to grab a lot of reclaim early on, you have to be prepared at home to have a lot of engineers building power. Also, I think this engineer was kind of walking around, and again, if it's walking around, it's not building, so it's not great. Is it better to build 3 labs at once with scouts, or lab scout NG lab? It depends on the opening. So now the thing I would say is you don't have enough power for this factory. Okay, you're queuing up P-gens. Yeah, so let's see what the labs achieved. They're still in the middle. These labs should be in the back of the base here already. Or they should be here. You just need to, they need to be sent directly across the map and start attacking. They're not defensive units, they're attacking units. That was probably an engineer, by the way. Oh no, it's a scout. Yeah, so, like, you know, you could have gotten past this Aurora. This engineer is vulnerable. These kind of things, right? So if you can avoid it, I wouldn't build pigeons like this early on, because you're really, well, yeah, there's a lot of overflow. So, you know, you have these 3 engineers here. If these guys build, you know, close together, then they're gonna build them all at once and not have to move. So try to, if you build them like this, then they're gonna be walking. So if we just watch these engineers for a second, walking. Okay, now they're all building. Okay, and then we'll see what happens with the next pigeon. This guy will walk. And now they're all building again. Once this pigeon is almost half done, they're all building again. And now 2 people are walking. And now they're building. So that's what you kind of want to avoid. And then over here, these engineers, again. Yeah, exactly. Lack of engineers did kind of lead to that. But also, I think it's important to say that you didn't use the labs correctly either. You could have used the 4 labs in a much better way as well, even though you did build them. But I would say, yeah, 4 labs was too much. The 2 labs, you know, you could send one here, or you could send them both to here and try and do a bit of micro or whatever. So, alright, dealing with the eco, right? So, obviously we've already overflowed mass, right? And we haven't really, you're not dealing with the power issue, right? So, this right here would be, well, okay, well, let's take a step back. The map. the map has a lot of mexes very close to you, okay? None of the mexes are, you know, it's a small area that most of your mass is in, okay? So you're gonna need a lot of power, right? So already you just have in your mind that this map needs a lot of power because there's a lot of mexes. And in future, you know, you should know that for Twin Rivers, you need a lot of power because you have reclaim, you have mid reclaim, and you have a lot of mexes to build, which are expensive on power. Okay, so this is like a normal power production for this map. If you're not already behind on power, 3 or 4 engineers building T1P gens would be kind of normal. But you're already behind, so this is not going to help you catch up. You're going to stay behind. These guys, and perhaps in the ACU, need to catch up. These guys, you could just, you know, get one of these templates and just grab it, throw down this, whatever, and they can be left to build lots of power. The other guys have to catch up. The other guys play catch up until your mass bar and your power bar look a bit nicer. So you don't have a full mass bar and you're not, you know, going to stall power. Building factories is going to make this worse because a factory is expensive on power to build. So these guys are building, you can break it down, right? You have engineers. What can engineers build, right? They can build mass. Okay, there's 3 things in this game that you build, right? You build mexes, you build P-gens, and you build factories. Okay? Put very simply, that's what the engineers do for you. Mass extractors, P-gens, and factories. Okay? Now, your mass extractors, they're queued up. Okay? That's fine. Except for these 2, but whatever. The main ones are queued up. Next thing, do you have enough factories? No, you don't. You don't have enough factories. But before you can build the factories, you have to have the power and the mass to build the factories. So instead of building factories, you go back a step, you build some P-gens, and then you build the factories, okay? So again, when you're in this kind of situation, remember you need the power before the factories. Because you're going to just stall here a lot. And that's going to ruin everything. Whereas if you just have a full mass bar for a while, because you're, you know, just for 30 seconds while you build P-gens, then you're going to equalize a bit more and then you can build factories. So does that make sense to you? Sheep thief. The rest of you, doesn't matter if you understand or not. Okay, so now let's see. Did Sheep Thief leave? Maybe he did. He's not responding. Please respond. Yes, didn't realize the power factories are expensive on power. Yeah. So the main thing is that, you know, you're building mexes, you're building P-gens. They come first, and then you have to have the factories, right? So next thing, we get to this stage, right? So now you're overflowing mass again, and you have a low amount of power. The problem is, once again, is, well, on this map, which again, we just take a step back and realize that you have a lot of resources. The problem is you're not queuing up enough stuff. It's really simple. On this map, think of it like, you know, you just need to queue up this many factories like this. You know, you can afford this many factories on this map. That's just how it is. And these engineers should have built a lot more than these P-gens that they've built here. They should continue building, basically until you have T2 power and stuff. So again, you have the power engineers. They can queue up a lot because it's a 10 by 10 with a lot of mass. And these guys should not be assisting factories. They should be building a line of factories. And then your eco bar is going to be fine, and you just press the factory hotkey and then you just drag a line. Okay, so there we got the line of P-gens. But there's only 2 engineers. I would say that's not enough, but it's a start. What the hell? What happened there? No idea what happened there, but and now we got the line of factories. Okay. Problem is, it's not enough NGs on either project. So it's the right thing to do, but if you see that your eco bar is full, you know that it's not enough. It's just not enough stuff that you're building. So all you need to do is add more engineers. So if, like this guy should help this guy, and you need actually, oh, you have no factory building engineers. Okay, that's a major issue. On most, I'm gonna say most 10x10s, you need 1 factory building engineers only. That's what you need. So you simply don't have enough engineers. So you've kind of fallen behind in factories, and you can't catch up because you have, these are all the engineers you have. That's it. The ACU, yeah, that's a bit panicky. I guess you're not gonna do that. But when do you make engineer only factory? Well, the point is you make it, well, you remember at the start you had you know, you had like couple engineers, couple labs, engineer, and then you had labs, and then you had like 8 engineers. That should be, after that, those 8 engineers should be infinity engineers at that point. And that factory, your first factory, will be engineers only for the rest of the game. First factory builds the initial units, you know, maybe there's a couple tanks or whatever in there, scouts, and it just builds engineers forever then, for the rest of the game. That's usually how it works. Yeah, no. Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, so that's quite important. Yeah, the 1 NG fac is it's not a bad rule. Well, in that specific case, you have to step outside the rules because that's what the game dictated. But as a rule, for a lower level player to follow, and for most people to follow, most of the time, it's a good rule. So that's basically the economic issues we have. I know you're joking, but I still want to explain. So yeah, still, yeah, it's just not enough engineers, basically. What's idle here? So even though you're not really spending your resources, you're still kind of doing okay. Another thing you can do is just make a couple of mexes. Just upgrade to T2 mexes here. Yeah, the factory lines are, the only problem is they're going, like, this one will never be built because it's only 1 NG. That's another thing. If you're making these, if you're building factories, you want to have at least 2 NGs on it. At least 2. Having 1 is not very good. You want to have more. So, yes, what next? Well, the normal stuff on this map is to make economy, because again, most of your stuff is in your base, so it's pretty safe, and you are kind of, you're just kind of losing a lot of units here because you have no vision, you don't know what the opponent has, and you're just kind of sending stuff forward, and you don't have many land scouts. You have 2, so that's all. So, you know, and you have no radar, so you're just losing a lot of units for free. There's no micro. This is the thing. If you want a micro, then that's fine. But there's no micro that you can possibly do when you have no radar and you can't see what's in front of you. So, like, these units are doomed. These units will do some damage, but ultimately they will be killed. The bomber versus the Aurora is very good. But, yeah, now we've managed to spend our mass. But the problem is... The thing is... well, you can see something, right? The opponent has some economy. The opponent has this island, at least. He may have this island as well. So now we're in a really bad position because you've spent all your mass. You have a very small army. You have no idea what he has. And you have nothing that will help you in the long term. So on this map, once again, because it has a lot of mass in your base, the game will not generally end quickly. So you need long-term advantages. For example, these T2 mexes that your opponent has. This is why I told you to maybe invest in T2 mexes here, because they're going to help you down the line. You don't have... Okay, now you have factory building energies, which is good. But yeah, you don't have T2 land. You don't have T2 air. You don't have an AC upgrade. Or... Well, you have some air control, but you don't have either of the sides. So you really don't have anything that's going to help you as the game goes on. T1 land is not going to win you this game. Especially if you have a weak start, because the T1 land needs to hit fast, do damage early on. So if you have a weak start, just spamming T1 land is not going to help you very much, and you definitely should stop building factories at this point, or even, well, before this point, and at least, you know, make some long-term investment in terms of T2 land or T2 mexes. And yeah, you're not going to get any good fights, basically. Yeah, exactly. You were trying to fix other problems, so now it's like, well, now if you've fixed your problem by, you know, making lots of T1 factories, but then it's like, well, now that wasn't even a great investment for you. Also, you got to build radars. A lot of units have been wasted just because, I mean, you've no idea where to attack, really. Oh yeah, this engineer can build a radar here, by the way. Tiny, useless tip. But yeah, you need some radar or scouting, things of that nature. You do have T2 land, so that's good. I actually missed that T2 factory. It's in kind of a strange place, that's why I missed it. Alright, let's talk about T2 land then. You actually have a rhino. Right, so what do you do when you get T2 land? You actually have mass now. So, what should you do in this position? Right, well, first thing I would do is... you have 2 almost finished factories, by the way. One thing I would say is have engineers on this factory. You should have engineers helping this HQ. Once again, there's just a lack of T1 engineers, but you already know to fix that at this point. So I would say, if your opponent has T2 mexes, realistically, you need to have T2 mexes as well. In majority of cases. So when you see the T2 mexes, make your own. Make your own T2 mexes here in your base. Okay? You can't allow the opponent to get too far ahead on eco. Ideally, you want to be just ahead of your opponent, at least, on economy. You want to keep just ahead of them and keep them at bay. Keep their attacks at bay. So, first thing you should build out of a T2 land factory is a T2 engineer. Okay? So you make a T2 engineer, and then you make TMD, tactical missile defense, and then you make a T2 power generator. Okay? So T2 land, make a T2 engineer, TMD to protect your factory, and then a power generator, and you get other engineers to help with the power generator. Okay? On a map like this, where you have plenty of mass, so you're going to need power to spend it. Okay? Now then you can also make tactical missile launcher. And I would recommend you make them and launch missiles at their T2 mexes and kill them. Especially against Aeon, because their TMD has a very low range. So the next thing about T2 land is support factories. So you don't want to sit generally on a single factory, a single T2. So we have one support factory here that's on the way, but just one. I would say make multiple. You can afford some stuff here. Now you definitely should be making economy, but you could afford more T2 land, and if needs be, cease a lot of your T1 land production, because T2 units are superior in every way to T1 units, basically, in terms of tanks. So this attack is not going to work. You're making upgrades. You're making the gun, which is a good idea. You could assist with your engineer here, get the gun a bit faster, but your army is going to be pretty small, I would say. And you still have no interest in taking either of these, which means if he gets both of those, that's 8 T1 mexes ahead of you. And your opponent is ahead of you on eco for a very long time now. A really long time. So you really shouldn't be in a good position at all, given this scenario. This is a really bad scenario to be in. Okay? That's a pretty good fight. Pretty good fight there. A lot of reclaim to be left for you. Does he have the gun? He does have the gun. And so do you. Okay, let's see. He only has speed gun, actually. Yeah, I recommend... Yeah, you should use transports. It's also a good use of your T2 units is to drop a T2 unit on the island to take it back, and maybe some artillery. Okay, now you're... Yeah, he's got the speed gun, and your units are... Well, they're out of position, I guess. Quite out of position. And you will die here, I guess. Yeah, the artillery is also hitting you. I want you to notice that the fervors do a lot of damage if you don't dodge their shots. Now they're shooting at other stuff. And does that block shots? It does. Uh-oh. Are you getting away? Oh, fervor. Another fervor shell. Another fervor shell. And yeah, the fervors killed you there, actually. Yeah, so in the end, the main problem was, well, I mean, the reason you died, you actually, despite the fact that your opponent had, well, we'll explain that after, but basically, yeah, you sent most of your units to this top side, and your AC was upgrading extremely far forward. So that's a really, really dangerous position to upgrade in. If you upgrade towards the front, and in general, if you're at the front at all at this point in the game, most of your units need to be with you. And if you're making an upgrade, you need to, in my opinion, assist the commander so that the upgrade finishes faster, so you're at less risk. But yeah, most of your rhinos were up the top, and a lot of mantis and things, and you had very few units sent after ACU. So if you're at the front, rally your factories to the ACU. And if you lose the position, you have to change the rally points, but while you're up there, you need most of your units to support you. And if you do that, then you're not going to get run over. Unless you're very far behind in units, which is not the case here. So that's the review. In terms of why he wasn't really far ahead in terms of like he has no T2 units, for example. He has 2 T2 mexes. But he has the islands, right? Which is very bad for you, but he invested so much in defenses. I think it wasn't that great for him. He also didn't get the reclaim on the islands, so like he kind of messed up there. Like, I'm not sure what all this is for on the island, but yeah, you wasted many units, and of course the economic stuff is very important. So you did make some T2 engineers. Those should make, as I said, TMD to defend your HQ, and also your T2 mexes, which I advise you build on this map. And yeah, then T2 PGen. And if you really want to be good, then you build a shield that covers the factory, that covers the T2 PGen, and covers also TMD. And then you're very safe from TML and perhaps attacks as well. Hey, look, he knows about the he knows about the radar. Look at that. Okay, you lost to a pro gamer, Sheep Thief. Don't worry about it. Yeah, for the islands, you have to use transports. You know, simple as that, really. You can edge build down here, but it's not at all a guarantee. Yeah, I mean, the 100 mass rock or whatever, these things are also important. The mass that's available to you on the map is important. For example, this mass that you could have taken, this mass was generated at the end of the match anyway. But in general, I don't think the reclaim was the issue. I'm sure that Sheep Thief had more reclaim, far more. So yeah, reclaim kind of, you had plenty of reclaim. That's not really the issue. So hopefully that made sense. To recap, you know, you need a lot more engineers, and you need to recognize when to build PGens instead of factories. And the important point is you need to get your power income up to a reasonable level where you're not stalling before you can spam a lot of factories. So you did make, actually, there is one T2 mex. I wouldn't advise making it here, by the way, just because a drop could come into this position and you would never stop it, and then you would lose your T2 mex. Better to make them in here where they're next to factories, production, and things. Yeah, a lot of idle engineers here. Those could have spent your 700 mass. So that should help you somewhat. I think in general though, I mean, I think you could you know, once a couple of things click with you, I think you're gonna move up, you know, pretty soon. Because already that seemed, you know, plenty of mistakes, but quite reasonable play to me. It looked like, you know, just maybe you lack a little bit of knowledge in certain areas, which is obviously understandable. And the knowledge gap is the easiest gap to fill, in my opinion. That just kind of looked like, you know, weak but sensible gameplay, rather than nonsensical gameplay, which is what you may see at the lower level sometimes. But no, that made sense. It just wasn't too strong. Few gaps to fill, and you'd be good. You're welcome, Sheep Thief. Thanks for being a patron, a generous patron. Now, somebody else is looking for a replay review, but we're not going to do that because I don't think he's on the stream right now, so we won't do it on stream. We'll probably do it on a video. And one moment. All right. So what now? What now? How do we keep learning? Let me see. Okay. So we could. How about reviewing FAF multiplayer? What are you trying to get me to do, Hans? What you trying? Let me see. Okay, so I could look at some of my point of view games, or point of view of some of my games, and explain some things. Not in the detail that we did recently, but perhaps slightly less detail. Alright, so can you see that? Right, so I played some games versus the Americans. Not sure when exactly, a few days ago. So, let's see. Rusty Roundel. Swackle likes to make first bomber, so because Swackle likes to make first bomber, we're gonna make a lab. At least one lab. A lab is the best thing you can make against first bomber. Okay. Now I let the lab go idle, which is not great. So I also made a quick scout. The scout's gonna run into the base and confirm whether or not he's making first bomber. So that should make sense. So I'm afraid he's gonna go make first bomber. So we scout it and we make a lab, which will be the perfect counter. So we scout and we see a tank. That means he isn't making first bomber. So we have second air and we queue up a bomber. Because bombers are good. They can do a lot of damage. So send the ACU to the left. We're gonna make, we also built our P-gens quite far apart. Again, fear of bomber damage. He has a UEF bomber, it does the most damage of any bomber, and we have Cyber and P-gens, they have the lowest HP of any P-gens. So put all those together and you don't want to get your P-gens bombed, basically. And then we just do micro. It's really Oh yeah, what happened there? So we're microing like crazy, just to be annoying and because we have nothing better to do, and then we get stuck on a rock. And now we have to try and defend this engineer, and I don't think we succeed. Sad. Sad. Alright. Now we'll talk about Bomber Micro. How to know where to send ACU. Is there a principle you follow? Give the ACU a job, an important job. So the ACU, if you send it to one, you can send it to, you know, there's 3 places you can send it on this map, right? You can send it to the, if we go back slightly so I get a better picture of the map, we can send it to this side, and this side is covered then. You could send it to this side, and then this side is covered. Okay, it won't need much support. Or you can send it in the middle. And the middle, you kind of want to walk into the enemy base and kill the hydrocarbon. If the hydro was like back here, I think you would never send the ACU to middle, to be honest. But yeah, you can just cover a whole side with the ACU. So you just do that. So the ACU is going to leave quickly. ACU can't be raided. ACU can't be killed by tanks in the early game. And there you go. Give the ACU a hard job that it can accomplish with ease. So here comes the bomber. So we also have a scout with our bomber, but the scout is late because the map is so small. So we just give a move order in front of the base slightly, and the bomber is going to stop in front of the base, and the radar is going to give us vision or whatever. So now we need to turn the bomber, and what we're going to do is bomb the air factory. The air factory is building an interceptor, which I can see an interceptor building here. So we're going to turn and we're going to bomb the interceptor and kill it. And it seems like it's kind of close to being done. Now we're going to hover the bomber and make it turn. And we're going to try and drop on this guy. This is kind of, you have to kind of get used to it. You need to practice Bomber Micro to get the feel for it. And you can see there, the engineer was too far past the bomber, so we couldn't bomb it. So we just quickly keep turning and bomb the next engineer. Okay. And then we can turn and we can bomb that guy. But we actually failed that. Now I'm surprised we failed that, but sometimes it just doesn't work. And that's whatever. Now we queue up another bomber. And how did we miss? How do we miss that NG? That's crazy. Anyway. So now we're going to try and raid and stuff. Our build is very bad. I will say that. It's very bad. Because we're overflowing power. We have no mass. We're getting raided. It's a weak opening, I would say. The only upside is that we're going to do some raiding and the bomber is doing some decent damage for us. Okay, so we bombed an engineer here. We killed an NG here. We killed an NG here. So that kind of makes up for our own bad eco, basically. Okay, so ACU is going to secure that whole expansion by himself. And notice that he doesn't really need any support whatsoever. So he can just deal with that whole expansion and it's fine. It's done. And the bomber's going to do some more damage. The second bomber, that is. Yeah, we killed 2 P-Gens and an engineer there. So that's a really good bomber. Now, notice what we did there, which might seem counterintuitive if you don't understand the eco in the same way I do. We have +2 mass and we have -37 power, but it looks like we have an empty mass bar and a full energy bar. But those 2 engineers have not been given an order to build factories. They've been told to build P-Gens. And that's because I know that I'm getting more mass soon. I'm getting this mix, I'm getting mixes here, and the power is already in the minus. So again, in this scenario where we have low mass and Power seems like a full mass bar. Seems like a full power bar. We're queuing up P-gens with all these engineers. And yeah, so now we're kind of afraid of the ACU walking into our base, which is a very real possibility. Isn't that too many P-gens? Well, it's not really. Anyway, we're adjusting things. Up here, okay, a bit of an air fight that we're definitely losing. And trying to dodge. We build a PD up here, right? So the ACU has this side covered. So we build a PD on the other side. And we build a PD in the middle because we think the ACU might come in. This is not going to be a great PD in the end, I think. So now we do some zigzags with the NG so that he hopefully dodges the bomber. You can't know for sure, but you hope that he will. So we have shit ton of NGs in the base, which is good. And now we have a full mass bar. So you can see why I queued up P-gens. Because eventually we're going to have to spend that mass. And it's going to have to be sooner rather than later. For now we're just trying to, you know, not lose everything to bombers, basically. Now we queue up some factories. Why not put the PD further ahead? Because, well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't need to be ahead of the it doesn't need to be ahead of the expansion. If we build it further forward, then there's more chance that the engineer gets raided and the PD doesn't get finished. So it's only to defend this position, so it can be all the way back there. There's no value in putting it forward. Why haven't I built radar yet? Because I lack power. I lack power, and it's a 5x5. I don't feel like I actually need radar that badly, so now we finally have radar. Which is valuable because I think it's pretty well timed, because now we can see units heading towards my ACU. So we kind of sent our ACU towards the middle to... I don't know how exactly this happened. This is something I didn't fully cop in the game. Is that he still has tons of HP and I'm way low, and I actually still... I miss how that happened, to be honest, still. So at this point you can see we're getting a lot of factories up, getting a lot of units. We're trying to run away to our PD, and basically now we're already too low to win the game. It's a draw at best, and he just takes... Swackle takes a draw here, which is, you know, it's 5x5. Do you think he overcharged me a lot? Yeah, that's probably it then. Yeah, so we offer a draw because there's some kind of bug with control King your ACU. But yeah, at the end of the game, we were actually in a really good position. So we have like 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 land factories, 10 land factories. And he has... You know, like if he doesn't draw me there, he's totally lost at this point. He has what, 2, 4, 6 land factories versus 10. So he did the right thing, and I did the wrong thing in, you know, losing so much HP. I guess it must have been the overcharges, because I can see the energy storage. What's the bug? It's basically, it's like, well, I don't even want to say it. It's because people might abuse it. He does have power storage in the middle of his base there. I'll show you. Right there. Yeah, so on to the next game. We're against Swackle again. And we're on 5x5 again. So So now let me just get this off screen. What the fuck? Oh. There we go. Let me see, is this working? Yeah, there we go. So, what's going on in this game? We're cybering again. And I'm 5x5 again. It's basically if you control cancel someone for a draw, you'll get the win. That's the thing. Yeah, tables. Buying free tables. If that could be called buying. So, on this map, this map is kind of not amazing either. I think it's just about, I don't know. I played Thomas here before this game. I think maybe a day or two before this game was played, and that basically showed me showed me how he won against me, because I lost that game pretty handily. So it's about reclaim. This map is about reclaim. It's about taking the reclaim. Big whoop. I mean, obviously every map is about taking reclaim, pretty much, unless it's Emerald Crater. So so what Thomas did, and what I did not do in that game, was to send an engineer. Okay, there's a lab. Swaka likes to make labs. And he didn't have a scout with him there, so it totally failed. If he had a scout with him, he could have easily gotten an engineer kill on the left side, to be honest. So we're going to scout towards the base there, looking for a bomber. And we're just going to make a lot of land factories. It seems like most people go second air bomber, so I'm just going to not do that. So yeah, we're going to attack move here, okay? There's reclaim here, a lot of reclaim here, and obviously on their side as well, okay? If you attack move with the factory to the edge of this, then you can get the reclaim from below. This is key on this map. Do I randomize faction pick? Yes, I always go random faction, full random. All 4 factions selected. Okay, so again, this is important to notice. This engineer is heading up here. There's juicy reclaim up here. Okay, so we're going to send Mantis that way. We're also sending some Mantis this way, but we're going to try and prioritize this way, and we're sending 2 engineers this direction, and we haven't yet set one to the bottom right. Okay, so we probably should send more of the Mantis here to the north, to be honest. So that's a bit of a mistake, I would say, from me. Now, notice that we have plenty of land scouts. Maybe too many in one place here, but okay. They're not expensive, but you need the radar. So there we got a nice 2v1 at the top. On the bottom, I think we got 2v1 as well. So that's super important in the early game. Getting 2 versus 1 tank battles is massive in the early game. Okay, this is how you build an advantage and then snowball that advantage, is with radar and taking good fights. Okay, if you don't have radar, you can't take good fights. And if you don't have a decent build, you can't take good fights either. So, you know, this is all important. Now we have an air factory, and we spot a bomber here. Again, land scouts, MVP. And we're just microing units to try and... Oh, we're not dodging that, are we? Oh, we did. We actually dodged enough damage. Do you put land scouts in your factory mix? Yes. How else would I have them? Not sure what you mean exactly with that question. So now we're going to try and raid the engineers that are reclaiming. Okay, so we lost some engineers in the base. Now it's important that we replace those engies. Some of them are leaving the base, so we pull them back to the base. And we take out his bomber, and it gets very little done, to be honest. And because we lost we lost an engineer or two there, and we don't have enough engineers in the base, essentially. The ACU queued up multiple factories because look at this. We have lots of mass, and we're keeping our energy well balanced. Okay? We're not overflowing. We're not wasting. We're not stalling power. Okay? So we have good balance. That's efficiency. It depends. Kind of every factory does something slightly different, I guess. Well, most of them will have Mantis and a scout in there. Yeah, the power did survive. I didn't lose any pigeons to the bomber. So here I realized that I actually have enough power, so those engineers switched to build another factory. We lost our NG up here, which is sad. If first bombers are so common, they're not that common. Now, specifically against Swackle, I'm afraid of it because he likes to do it against... Swackle likes to make first bomber, and he likes to make first bomber against Cybern because they have low HP on their buildings. So, that's why, particularly against Swackle, first bomber is not a good strategy. This is the thing. So, it's not a good strategy in general on most maps. Okay? So, it's already... He shouldn't really do it, but I'm going to make sure that if he ever does do it, he will lose. And again, I'm not... If you... See, the thing is, I'm making stuff that... Like, scouting his... Trying to scout forward is going to be useful whether he makes first bomber or not. Building a static anti-air could be a complete waste. And it's 150 mass. It's like 3/5 of a factory. That's way too much to invest on the off chance that he makes first bomber. So here we have like... He's making bombers and stuff. We're making inties. You don't want to make 5 or 10 anti-air. Because every one of those could be a tank. Or an engineer. And those are going to be far more useful. We already have air production, okay? We don't need to build mobile anti-air or static anti-air, really. We just deal with the bomber. Let it... If it does damage, it does damage. The point is not to avoid all damage. The point is simply to deal with it efficiently. And to deal with it efficiently means to not overreact. Because if you overreact, then you actually... It doesn't even have to do damage. Because then it's done damage by... If investing in anti-air is damage, it's done. If you see what I mean. If he makes 1 bomber in the game and you make 4 mobile anti-airs and a static anti-air, and then he never makes a bomber again and just spams lots of units, then he's got an advantage for making 1 bomber. A huge advantage. Because he probably also bombed something with that as well. So that's how you... If you overreact to threats, then they will... They can do a lot of damage to you. So right now, you know, we're just trying to fight. We're always trying to take good fights and avoid bad fights. So here we got quite far forward. This is a decent army. We don't want to fight an even trade here. Well, on this particular map, it's not actually that important to get the ACU out. What the ACU will do, if the ACU comes out quickly, will secure, you know... Well, there's things you could do if you leave the base very quickly, but it's not super important on this particular map, in my opinion, just because of the layout. You're only going to really go to middle. You're not going to go to the sides because there's not enough stuff there. And in the middle, there's 2 mexes, and there's like 1 here. And, you know, if you push up the ramp, it's like, okay, now you're on the ramp. Again, there's no resources there. So, On this particular map, you don't actually have to leave the base very quickly. On most 5x5s, I would say you shouldn't stay in the base as long as I did, generally. But in this one, I think it was fine. Also, the fact that if I had more engineers in the base, then I would leave sooner. But if you have less engineers in the base, that can mean you have more tanks on the sides of the map, which might be more useful than having the ACU in the middle of the map. It might be more useful to have extra tanks on the side than to have extra engineers and an ACU in the middle. Now, I don't know if that's fully true, but it's some kind of reasoning at least. And ultimately, being late to middle did not really help, did not really hinder me. I'm lacking 2 mexes, but you know. In terms of the sides are going well. And the reclaim is going well. As you can see, he has some reclaim here that he hasn't taken. He has some reclaim here he hasn't taken. I've taken all of this and most of this. So now he's got some bombers going. I have 5 inties. And at this point, okay, we're going to just, you know, notice the timing of when I decide to invest time in manual reclaim. Minus 10 mass. So again, I'm always conscious of what's happening on the eco bar. So it's only when I need to that I invest in that kind of APM. Otherwise, we're microing units and things. So we have a jester, we have air control. Now we have mass. And our ACU is still healthy. So, trying to think now what we could explain. So at this point we're in a good position. We could have a better radar maybe or something. That's some juicy reclaim there that we just got, by the way. It's like a couple hundred mass from that engineer. We have air control. And so we have mass, so once again we can just add more factories. we got a lot of mass there actually. So we're really focused on the middle and we have a lot of resources, so we can actually just, you know, building PD in the side is not gonna harm us. It's good, it's gonna be a good investment. Because at the very least, what PD will do is delay attacks on you long enough that you can reinforce. That's largely what PD will do for you. The factory up there is probably not a great idea, but whatever. We'll get a bit of reclaim in the middle. And, you know, at this point, yeah, look at that PD. It's a beast. Now we're protected at the top corner. And also now you can see where most of the units are. So most of the units are with the ACU in the middle. We're winning. Okay, I know I'm ahead at this point. I have more of the mexes. Like, look, these 2 mexes. Obviously I shouldn't have both of those. And I have, you know, I have more than half the map. Like, look, I have all these mexes in the middle of the map. All of them. Except this one, which I'm building. And he has much smaller amounts. So, we're totally winning. And then what you need to do is make sure you don't get drawn. You're against the enemy ACU in middle. Most of your units, like 80% of your units, should be with the ACU. PD strong. You're taking reclaim with full mass bar. Well, it's not really full. I was draining a lot, and yes, if you have time, it's good to just manually reclaim some stuff around your ACU. I mean, the ACU, you know, he's fighting most of the time, but not all the time. So in between, you can just, you know, grab some wrecks on the ground around you. If you find the time. Now we're going to turn on Auto OC, and then at this point I'm like, hang on, Swackle's actually in the red. I actually didn't know he was that low on HP. I think that shows that we out microed the shit out of him. So, but I honestly didn't realize that he was that he was that low at that point. But so then it's like we see he's red. Let's just take the win, end the game there, and there you can see. I think well, I learned from. Is it perfect time to send air scout? I should have had better scouting intel before this, to be honest. Swackle had some hotkeys. He might have more HP. Actually does second bomber, not first. I mean, first bomber, second bomber, I mean, whatever it is, it's very similar. I don't think either is really worth it on most maps. Yeah, this is a great game, Thomas. I agree. Not sure what we can say about this one, except we'll find something. We'll find. This is a bit of a funny game. Yeah, it seems like learning is not what people are here for. Very few viewers compared to previous streams. Bad title. Bad stream title. Let's adjust it. Probably also not a great title, but whatever. Okay. So we make some labs. This map I've played like once or twice before this. So it's not like I really have a great idea of what to do here. But, you know, we make labs because the map is very spread out. You can see the mexes are very spread out in your base. And so labs are going to be able to find ways to do damage, most likely. Update my UI mods. No, I just did update my UI mods. I got the emojis UI mod, which is the best. Thomas, where are your POV? I don't have access to those, so don't know how I can review them. Can you hide AC in the crater? You can probably dip into these, but not. You might be able to drop in there. What's my favorite unit? Somebody asked me recently. I said Janice, so let's say something else. Okay, I thought that was an engineer, but it's actually the ACU already outside the base. That's crazy. Well, that's not POV, is it, Thomas? Not really. How much rating increase is common with the emoji mod? I think I've gained about 50 rating, at least. So you'll do similar or better, I'd say. Spider is best unit in the game. Is this a recording? Yes. So what's my favorite unit? Janice top 3 albums. Burn Baby Burn. Let me think of other titles. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so we got some little kill on an engineer there. Told you, labs will find kills. Fire mixtape. What's up, Daniel? You often fall behind early and then make a comeback. Is there a way to get good at the first 4 minutes without memorizing loads of build orders? Yes. How do we teach people how to deal with the opening? It is kind of Fire Walk With Me, yeah. Quality film. So Thomas is totally dominating air, by the way. Yeah, this is what autumn looks like. Okay, let's just let this run and you can enjoy it while we explain some things, I guess, with the chat. What's up, Blast? Is there a way to get good at the first 4 minutes without memorizing build orders? Yes, I've never like sandboxed builds for ladder games ever. So I think if you have a rough idea of the cost of things, that's going to help you. You know, you don't need to, like, I know the cost of way too many things because I was in charge of balance. So that's how I know a lot of stuff. But you don't need to know that much. But it will help you if you know that a factory is like 240 mass. Or, you know. It's how do you do it? How do you do it? Well, if you have experience on the map, it's going to be easier. You need to pay attention to... How do I put this? If your economy is screwed, you're about 1250 ladder, okay. Yeah, so you're trying to make that breakthrough to a higher level. So, how do I put this? When you're gaining experience on maps, you need to pay attention to where you went wrong during the game. And also review your games afterwards, okay? And try to draw general conclusions. Well, okay, the game is freezing. What's going on? Oh, fuck. Okay. Okay, we're back. Wait. Actually, are we back? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, you can. Cool. Okay. Alright, let's open that replay again. Or the recording. Ladder versus Burger Squad. I don't know where we were in this game exactly. About here-ish. Okay, so we were trying to explain how do you get good at There you go. Yeah, how do you get good at, you know, the opening few minutes? Well, did I install? Yeah, something like that. Basically, you need to... Well, first, there's going to be some maps where you have a good build, right? Where your opening isn't weaker than your opponent, right? There's some maps where you have a good idea of what's going on, right? In the opening, okay? Now what you need to do is take those maps and then figure out what's going on there. Because maps are, like, each map is different, but they're not all that different from each other. Go on to MapGen now and show how to improvise video. That might be the better way to do it. But generally what I want you to do is to figure out certain kinds of maps and use similar builds on maps which are similar, which you identify as being similar to each other in terms of where the resources are and what the style of map is or whatever, you know. Okay, so if you have a build for Roanoke, you have a build for... Then you have basically a build for Seraphim Glaciers as well. And you have a build for Point of Reach. Those all have very similar builds, right? You don't need to memorize a BO for every single map there. If you have a build for Certus, like... Well, okay, Certus is quite a particular map, actually. But, you know, there's, you know... Okay, we'll go to MapGen and maybe explain something. But to be honest, I feel like I'm often behind. I mean, against the top players, I feel like I'm often behind in the opening, and then I'm quite good in the middle game, but you know, so I kind of sympathize. This fucking game. What is a good BO for Gap? Control K. What's up, Mr. K? What do I do if I can't read? Learn to read, says Thomas. Yeah, that's pretty good. What happened? Did I crash? I don't know what happened, to be honest. My PC lagged hard. I don't know what happened. Is it a memory issue or something? Okay. Let's just watch the end of this game because I think it's funny. And that's all that matters. And then we'll go to MapGen and we'll learn about builds. What's a good BO for Astro Creators? Alt F4. This is a fun game. I might have, I don't know, made too many long-term investments. You've lost $1,000 today speculating on stocks. What do I do? I'm not a financial advisor. Ladder's boring, only BO whore. Nope. Nope. I refuse. It's not, it can't possibly be build order horrors because there's 30 maps and they change every month. I don't understand how Ladder could be about build whoring. It's really not, in my opinion. Now, you know, some maps, I guess, definitely lend more to an advantage in the opening, but yeah. So Thomas decides to walk into my base again, which is kind of annoying, but this time I have, you know, more T2 and T2 units than I had before. If you don't have a BO for a certain map but your opponent have one, you screwed. Maybe. See, Mr. Cat. We're busy looking elsewhere at the map while he walks into our base. Well, let's talk about builds, because I guarantee most of you... Yeah, now we have actually 13 T2 units, which is pretty nice, but the builds, you know, I don't know. I've never made builds in my life except for like tournaments. Except for making builds within just by playing games on the map. Never like sandboxing or whatever, so I think builds are good, but overrated. And Thomas regrets walking into my base. And that is another draw, ladies and gentlemen. Fun game. We lost our HQ, by the way. I ran for V. Yeah, I mean, not really. I barely saw him play. I mean, he never really played. Never felt like. I don't think he really played big tournaments or anything, or at least never did much. But yeah, he made builds and stuff. Literally perfect. I don't know. Not really. Extremely good for the time, and still very good. But yeah. Combine. Why did you draw and not explode? Because there's some kind of bug with Control King and who gets the win and stuff and whatever. But you know, so we just didn't. Okay, let's open MapGen. Let's just open a MapGen map and learn about improv. Because that's what you should do. Generate new map, tournament. Let's do 10 by 10. 10 by 10, 5 by 5. Let's do 10 by 10. We'll do tournament settings, 2 players. Oh yeah, we have to create the freaking game after we generate the map. Okay, cool. Daniel, thanks for the £2. Cheers for the help, by the way. You are welcome. Okay, this map looks questionable. Okay, let me close this thing. Fuck's sake, Noah. Okay. Let's just change some settings so we don't, you know, just so we can do some things. Game speed. Yeah. Score. Sandbox, cheating. Let's turn off Fog of War as well, why not? Well, these are tournament settings. I have to pour more whiskey to deal with chat. Alright. So, let's figure out how do we make a build on this map. Okay. Brand new map. Never seen before. Reclaim on the front. Expansion here. Okay, the terrain is fucky. The SLX, you think map gen should be in on ladder, but like this is dumb. Like, what is this plateau? Makes no sense to me. What does this do? Nothing. What does this water do? Nothing. So the terrain is kind of dumb, in my opinion, but whatever. That's irrelevant to what we're actually doing. So there's like one expansion here and here, so it's kind of weird to make a build for this, to be honest. There's no way to walk down here. I wish I really should pick a normal map. You have to walk the whole way around to get those 2 mexes. That's kind of shitty. And to get to this one, you actually have to walk through this expansion. Also dumb. So here's what we know. Transport is probably going to be useful. Let's go back to the main base. We have 6 mass extractors. So we're going to start with a land factory. We're going to unpause our ACU because he's paused. Need to adjust your settings. No, those are tournament settings, so I don't need to adjust them. Those are the approved tournament settings. Yes, complaining about the map is definitely a key portion of build order whoring. Okay, so now we have a question. I think we built a couple of P-gens. Well, okay, don't let your factory go idle. Pro tip. So you can build 4 mass extractors and then rush a hydro. Okay, that's possible. Instead, we're going to build a P-gen. So we can get the mexes faster. Now, do I know exactly whether I can get all 6 mexes because of this? I don't know. I honestly don't know, but we're going to find out. Let's see. Doesn't look so good. Let's make a lab. Okay, we can make this mex. We can make that mex. So, because we built this P-gen, we can afford all of this crap. And we're not going to stall. So what happened there? Okay, so I know that I can build a factory, 4 mexes, and a hydrocarbon. I know that. This is common knowledge. Now I'm presented with 6 mexes. Okay, and a hydro. So what did I do? Did I know exactly what's gonna work out for me? No, but I'm like, okay, if I add a P-gen, I can probably build one of the more mexes. This one is on the way. You just extrapolate from common knowledge. Common knowledge is 4 mexes and a factory and a hydro. So I just add a P-gen because I have more mexes. Okay? So we make factory, P-gen, mexes, hydro. Okay? Now you don't even need to do that. You could just do the normal stuff and just make sure you only build 4 mexes until the Hydra is done. If I wanted, I could build 2 P-gens, mexes, all the mexes, and then the Hydra. Okay? So, now what do we do? Why did we build a lab? We built a lab because there's reclaim at the front, and we want scouting info, and we want potential to, you know, kill some stuff. So we build a lab. Is a lab really that good here? I'm questioning it at this point. But whatever, that's the thought behind it, at least. So, now, we have 1 PGen and 1 hydrocarbon. Should we build an air factory right now? Lower rated players, please answer. Higher rated players, please don't answer. God damn it, Thomas. Maybe 2 more pigeons, then do it. Okay, so we got Thomas with the correct answer. We got some yeses, we got some nos. The answer is no. The answer is no. You need more pigeons. So let's build another pigeon. Okay. Look at our power right now. We're struggling. Somehow it's working perfectly though. Quite happy with this. Okay. Now, do we build it after this pigeon? What do you think? Should you do it if you have full energy bar? You should not have full energy bar at 2 minutes. Shouldn't happen. Should we build it now? Should we build it after this pigeon? Now look around at the map and see what is around us. Okay? Because I don't know, because I don't have stored energy. Okay, but do I need stored energy if I'm generating energy? Are we reclaiming? I'm not getting any reclaim at the moment. The answer is yes. Now we build the air factory, okay? So we have, this is 5, 6, 7, this is 8, okay? Now we can build an air factory, okay? One thing I want you to notice is that there's only 1 mass extractor nearby, okay? Just 1. And we're not even at the mass extractor yet, okay? Mass extractors, building 1 mex, if we look down here, right? If you see the drain, it says -30. Okay, -30 energy. That's the same as, it's almost the same as a guy building a factory. A guy building a factory drains slightly more. Okay? Just slightly. But you can think of it similar, right? So, this guy, there's only 1 other engineer that's going to be draining shit. And he's not ready to drain shit either. We can also pick up some trees on the way here, right? Air factory drains -40. Land factory drains -35. But it's very similar to each other, right? And a mex drains -30, okay? Think of it as all very similar, right? Because it is. So now we're going to build an air factory. What's up, Robo? And you'll see that we won't stall. If we were building a mex, now, we would stall. Oh, we ran out of pauses. God damn it. Now, we're going to build another PGen after. Okay? Now, we're also going to send the ACU forward, because the ACU is going to be the best thing at securing this reclaim that's up here. Okay? We build... Can we build a land factory now? I think so. Okay? Now look at this. And we haven't even taken any tree reclaim. See all this? tree reclaim, which would allow us to cut out some of our production, some of our needed pigeons. So, you know, we go forward and take that stuff. And, you know, where do we send this guy? We can send him over here, whatever. Oh no, we'll send him around this way. Okay. Now, what do we do, right? We don't have enough mass for a factory. And we don't have, so we can't really build a factory. Actually, no. Scratch that. What we need to build is pigeons right now. Okay? Now, the reason I need to build pigeons is because we're getting this reclaim at the front, okay? That's why we need to build pigeons. We need more power. That should be building engineers. Let's just move our air around. Whatever. What you do with the units, that's one thing, but in general, we're focused on, you know, the base building. Thanks for the 99 cent. Now BO is fucked. True. We got distracted. That's fine. More power. But watch, we'll fix this shortly. What do you build with Air Factory? Inties and scouts. We can build a transport. But for now, we're just going to build factories at the front. Just build some mantis. And then we'll send the AC over here because this is, you know, a basic idea. It's very simple. And again, we're actually not even wasting power at the moment. Get the reclaim. Get some more reclaim. Yeah, let's build a transport. We can afford a transport. Okay, and we'll send most of our units over here. We could send some down this path because it's a gammy ass path. And we'll make a T2 Mex at home because the map is very bland. There's not much to do on the map. Queue up some more pigeons. And yeah, we have a full mass bar, so what happened there is basically we got all the front reclaim. So 2 mechs is not so great. Thanks for the super chat, Noah. Okay. Let's get this freaking transport done, for Christ's sake. Oh, we've already made a transport, never mind. That's why it wasn't built yet. Because it was built yet, of course. So let's like drop over here. Repeat building transports, obviously a high class maneuver. Now we have too much power. Yeah, so we kind of overshot because we were building transports. Transports will drain your energy, so I kind of messed up with what I was actually draining there. And whatever, we're at 6 minutes now, so we're beyond the opening build anyway. But yeah, we miscalculated our energy cost because we were building transports. What are all the keybinds, newer stuff on the hotbar? I'm not sure what you mean exactly. Enough power for an upgrade? Yeah, potentially. How many pigeons do I have? Too many. I have like, let's see, 22. Too many. Let's build a PD here immediately. And now we have everything. Wow, we have the whole map. Obviously this is not going to happen in a real game. So let's try a different map. That's enough. Okay, there's a difficult question from Daniel. Is it better to guard expanding engineers with early tanks or distract their early units by raiding them and make them defend? It depends. Obviously, you know that it depends. To be more specific, in general, you should I think the latter is better if it's possible. Yeah, I'll enable infinite pauses so that we can make a perfect build. Base aesthetics, yeah. I would have a nice BO if I could pause more. True, but you know, I can pause and give the right answer, but some people won't. It's not about me making a nice BO, really. Okay, this map looks more interesting. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, you're joking anyway. I know that. I understand. Still have the stock hotbar and tooltips. Let me adjust this. It just looks different. Okay. So let's do what we normally do on the map like this. Okay, we're just gonna build the Hydra straight away. Okay. Should I walk out of work right now? Is work? Are you finished for the day? I mean, it's pretty late, isn't it? Okay. So what are we doing here? How do we make a build on this map? Okay. This is a very different map to the previous. Okay. First thing, 16,000 mass. Most of it is in these 4 positions. Okay, so that's the most important information about the map right there. It's a land map, fair enough. That's obviously relevant, but that's pretty basic. Most important thing is that there's reclaim here, okay? Now, how do we make a good build? First thing we should notice is our ACU is idle. Second thing we should notice is, let's make a couple of scouts to scout the sides. Actually, let's make 3 scouts because I want to see if you can get through here. Oh, I can't pause at all. Oh my god. No. However, I can adjust the game speed down to -10. Cool. Alright. So, let's build some power. We're gonna go 8 P-gens, second air again. Transport is good to get middle reclaim. No. No. See, this reclaim is close to you, okay? If you rushing at transport is not worth it, okay? Okay, let's take stock of what's going on. So, reclaim we've taken note of. Next thing, shit ton of mexes, to use the technical terminology, okay? 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, loads of mexes, okay? Loads of mexes. Now, what did we learn on the previous map? Mexes cost a lot of power to build in the early game. The number of mexes you have determines how much mass income you have, and it also determines how much energy drain you're going to have in the opening. So we're gonna need more P-gens on this map just to build the mass extractors, okay? So let's send, well, this guy's building. Okay, let's turn it up slightly. So this guy is going to expand this way, okay? And onwards. Maybe get a PD in this position. Let's use the scouts. Send one over here. Send one into the middle and see where he goes, because I don't know the pathfinding through this position. And the ACU, right? We had 8 P-gens equivalent previously. Now we're gonna make an extra one before the air factory, okay? Because we have a lot of mexes around. We're gonna need power. Let's speed it up a bit. Okay, this guy can go expand. Actually, let's send him directly to reclaim. Okay. He can start reclaiming. Yeah, it's minus 30 for a max. But we're not going to be expanding everywhere at once. Okay. We're not going to build a bomber. It's just a build tutorial. We don't need to do damage or whatever. So we're just building air units for the sake of building air units. And now we send the ACU to the reclaim. Why do we send the ACU to the reclaim? Because we have no mass. We're full of we have plenty of power. We have not enough mass for the ACU to build. And now, what can we do? Well, we should have built a couple tanks out of this base. But now we have nothing better to do than assist the air factory because we messed our build up a bit. So this is a 2K build, by the way. Professional player build. And it's shit. So this will happen. We also walked past mexes with the ACU, so that's not great. So let's walk over here and build this mex with the ACU. And then we'll go over here. Let's build a bomber or whatever. Send an engineer here. And now we have some mass. We need to build power. This is how the build works in normal games, exactly. Stuff goes wrong and then you fix it. Now we're getting some mid-reclaim. Let's pretend we don't get raided. So the ACU here, we have mass. Let's build a factory at the ACU. Send the bomber over here, whatever. Let's re-queue the P-gen so that the 8 engineers don't have to move around. Okay. And let's queue up some factories in the home base. And we'll make a T2 max. Okay. Why do we make a T2 max? Because we can. Are we going to get punished for T2 max here? I don't think so. That's a judgment call that I'm going to make. That we wouldn't have got punished on this map. So we're going to make one. Again, these guys can keep queuing. More power for them. And keep walking to the reclaim. Let's send our tanks to his reclaim patch. Send some tanks to this reclaim. Bomb an engineer that's here, maybe. Bomb an engineer that's here, maybe. Whatever. Okay, more engineers in the base. More factories. Let's build another factory. So much mass on this map. So much mass. This factory is now going to build engineers. We have too much mass available to us. So the ACU, I'm gonna just walk into middle. Let's get an engineer at this factory to build to get the mass again. Really, what we need are loads of units to this position. I will make T2 land. And we probably still be able to afford everything. Let's cancel this factory and assist this one instead, shall we? Alright. Now we're kind of overflowing power. So we can take some engineers off that. Let's make T2 land and make spam pillars. Let's get that reclaim. And, you know, it's like whatever. It's not a sick build. It's not amazing. Did things go wrong? Yes. Did we fix the things? Yes. Did we overflow stuff? We didn't overflow mass. So this is how I'm approaching the build. So first I have to notice what the hell the map it has, which is a shit ton of mexes. We don't have half the mexes, but we have 19 mexes already. tons of reclaim in a very small position, which means you can grab it very quickly. And, you know, now what we can do, upgrade all those to T2. Fuck it. Pillar spam. And we'll assist them so they upgrade faster, and we can afford to do whatever. It's like, whatever. We could have way more units and stuff. But in essence, we're already way past the initial build anyway. But, you know. What happens if we press rehost game? So, I don't know if this is really helping. If that particular one helped. Let's try again and try and make a better build order, okay? This should be the same map, right? Why does it say connecting to my own lobby? That's not right. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do another one. Oh wait, no, that map should still be there. How many pigeons do I have now? Well, it's not really. Don't think about how many pigeons I have. Just look at how much I'm generating power-wise in total. I need to turn on pauses though. I've turned them off instead of turning them on forever. Alright. Let's make a better one. Ground assist. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that works. Is there a ratio? No. See, this is what I was saying with the mass extractors. Is that the mass extractors are the biggest difference in terms of how many pigeons you need. It's not about the factories. It's about how many mexes you have next to you. So on Twin Rivers, you have a lot of mexes that you're building. Okay. So you need more power. On this map, you have a lot of mass extractors next to you. So you need to increase the power. It's not about a ratio. In the first 4 minutes, which is what Daniel was asking about, there is no ratio for PGens to factories, really. I mean, there is for the first factory, the first, you know, the second factory. There can be, there's numbers that you can sort of, that are good estimates. Okay, so right, first engineer is the builder with the ACU. Let's go for that. Something like this. Second engineer here is like, yeah, again, expand, expand, expand. And you find a good spot to, you know, start a new base. Haven't even talked about tree reclaim. That's because tree reclaim is not necessary to talk about, really. What's up, Kurtza? How's it going? So, what happened last time? We ran out of mass. And why did we run out of mass? Probably because I'm doing the exact same thing as what I did before. Which is not expand fast enough. I need to build... I should build labs right now. See, if you build labs, you're not going to build stuff to build stuff. Do you ground assist? It does complicate everything. Let's move forward. Do I use ground assist? Rarely. Very rarely. So yeah, our build is kind of better now. Let's cancel a PGen and build a factory afterwards. Let's make some labs. And we're gonna stall mass, perhaps? No, we're even. Why not go for reclaim in top right? I could go for that. I could. There's actually nothing wrong with going for that. That's what I would say. I don't really think there's any problem with going for that power. Or that, Okay, now we're going to switch back to NGs. I'm going to switch back to NGs. We're getting close to the reclaim now. And that's when everything's going to go crazy. And what we're going to need is like a shit ton of engineers. So this factory here is going to make engineers. Let's send some tanks in this direction. Let's build a P-gen here. Now, notice our economy, okay? Pay close attention. Okay. 3 engineers building power here. We're going to supplement some power here. And then we're going to go build factories. We're going to add more engineers to the P-gens, okay? We probably have too many queued up for these 4 guys, but it's whatever. And these guys are going to try and build in such a way that they don't have to move, okay? And that way they're going to be very effective. And we're going to destroy our mass bar, even though we're reclaiming with an engineer. And we should have an engineer in this area as well, by the way, but we don't. So let's send one there. Send another one there. Okay, watch the eco. Watch the eco. Still not stalling. This guy's reclaiming trees. He should be getting mass though. Now, of course, at this point, your engineers could get bombed or something sad like that could happen. That's reasonable, okay? But we have inties, you know, we have air, we have units, all this stuff. Now let's make T2 land. Take some NGs off power, make T2 land. Make another land factory. You know, we have units, we have stuff. We haven't even taken this reclaim. Okay, so now, do you see how much better even the second go around on this map was for me? Does it make sense what I'm doing? Let's break it down really simple. There's only 3 things happening, okay? There's only 3 things happening. These guys are getting a shit ton of mass. This ACU, if we unpause here for a sec. Hang on. Oh, it won't show up. Oh, every time I pause, it stops. Plus 80 it says. That doesn't seem right to me. Right, so there's 3 things going on, okay? These guys reclaiming mass. These guys building power. And now changing their plan. And these guys building all of these factories, okay? That's it. That's all that's happening, right? The rest of it is the tanks get built and they get sent to the rally point. That's it. Okay, that's it. Air factory builds some air units and they're here. What's going on in the chat anyway? I don't know what Albert is talking about. Daniel, watching this, I think I over prioritized expansion. Maybe. But I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. If you look at what we did, look, we've expanded. We expanded very quickly. Okay? We've taken almost half the map before 6 minutes with a ton of map to take. Okay? We didn't negate our expansion at all. Okay? Except maybe to the middle mexes. But we did not limit our expansion at all. Now, sending one engineer to the left is dubious. I will say you want to send more than one here, to be honest. And, you know, it's very likely we don't get all this expansion because this guy is easily killed. This guy could die, and then, you know, we miss out on some mexes. We'd still get these. We might get these, we might not, but, you know, whatever. What's up, Pablo? But, yeah. In my games, maybe 4 out of 6 first engines would leave base to get mexes or expansions. I think that's fine. That's, like, in general, that seems okay. I don't think that's probably not where your issue is. Decent rule of thumb is first 3 expand. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. We did not do that in this game either. Okay, now we're gonna upgrade, like... We're gonna see how many factories we can build T2 units out of. So let's figure it out. T2 needs to finish first, of course. Let's build blazes. Let's build a transport. Because, you know, building transports is good. We're gonna need some more power. Mass, please. Look. Look at this. Incredible. But yeah, we're definitely gonna stall power now because we're building a transport. But yeah, at this point, like, the build is over. Okay, we're at 7 minutes. We're way into the build. But you can see how smooth that was. And this is the second time I've played this map, right? So we can... If you see what I'm doing, I'm recognizing first what the map has. Namely, mass extractors. Big patch of reclaim. Okay. What if you need an emergency gun upgrade? Okay, well... you don't need an emergency gun upgrade on this map, in my opinion. I don't see how that could happen. But, let's assume... Okay, well, look. You don't... Okay, let's say somebody's making the gun. Okay, let's send units over to protect the ACU. Okay, first thing. ACU retreats. Engineers come to meet the ACU. Okay. Send some ACUs. We're making a transport so we can drop engineers. But if you don't have a transport, then you send engineers forward. Okay. All units rally here. Should gunships be king? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be... I mean, it's just going to be very... It's going to be a lot of T2. So now let's make the gun. Right. Let's continue with our other plans because we still have other shit that we need to do in the map, right? So let's drop over here. Let's imagine that this guy died and all of this is dead now. We're going to drop there and replace it. Let's build TMD for our stuff. Rally our shit forward. Turn off shields that we just built. Okay. And, you know, emergency gun. So let's really emergency it up by assisting. Okay, we don't have resources. So let's pause our T1 land. Let's just stall it out. If this is really an emergency upgrade, let's just frickin' stall. Do we have obsidians? Let's just stall. It's an emergency gun upgrade. Okay, we're making it. Whatever. We're not gonna die. We have units. Probably not gonna die, I guess. That's all good. Yeah, we open it again. But again, on this particular map, you're not gonna make emergency gun. Or you're not gonna need emergency gun. So as soon as this gun is done, we're making our T2P gen, by the way. Okay, now we have gun and we have, you know, freaking... We have this position now again. And whatever. Whatever. Just walk forward. Now look at us. We have fucking sick army. Okay. Turns out, if you only make 2 T2 mexes, you can't really afford all this T2 land production. Oops. That's okay. Let's just pause some of them. Anyway. And you're dead. Nah. Never. Never me. I've never died in my whole life. Now, let's quit this game because this has gone way beyond what we're supposed to be learning about, which is build order. Way beyond. Way beyond. Okay, what do you think? Should we do another map? Should we do one more map? Let's see if we get some kind of interesting map gen map first. You can't see the preview until you're in the lobby, which is an issue. Do an 81x map. No. Never. What is my strategy or routine to upgrade mexes? Theta or Finn's BO? Theta BO. I mean, also in terms of hotkeys. Well, I mean, G is my upgrade key. Okay, you want theta. I mean, theta is theta. You should really just check a replay because you're not going to see too much different between what people do. Theta, you should just look at a replay, to be honest. Buffy. Wow, blast from the past there. I don't pause my mexes. I don't use select nearest idle unupgraded mex either. I just select a mex that's T1 and upgrade it. That's my routine. That's my strategy. Right, let's quickly do some theta. Oh, it's theta, is it? Well, yeah, it's theta. Theta. Theta passage. Okay. Let me introduce you to a theta build. Okay. AC will assist the hydro. Theta. Theta passage. Hey. What's up, Robert? Welcome to whatever this stream is. A very unpopular one. And yet important. Oh, it's not building. Great build, great build. Idle factory. Let's build a max, and this guy will build a max. Does anyone know why 40 by 40 and 81 by 81 is never played? Because the balance doesn't really suit it at all. No opponent, I'm sure you got this. Well, I've been known to lose games against myself. Williamson's bridge was the one that seems impossible to do a good one. I think that you're onto something, that it is tough to do. That's one map where I did actually make a build for a tournament. Okay, so we're gonna build a hydrocarbon now. Let's build, like, I don't know, I'd probably build labs if I'm Aeon, but let's do some scouting. Let's get some reclaim. And go to middle. Let's build a land factory. Expand. And build a PD. Yeah, let's just build land shit. Okay, anything weird here? The ghetto build. Yes, exactly. Oh, it should have crushed. It should have crushed Agata. But it didn't, because I suck. Feels bad, man. So let's leave the base. You can see just as we were running low at mass, we got some mid reclaim, which is nice. Why do I hit max adjacency? Why is your face dumb? That was mean. That was uncalled for. Let's try and get a PD there. We won't, but we'll try. No defenses on this engineer, which is quite bad. Let's build this max. Let's take this reclaim. Childish humor is the best humor. So uncontested mid. Yeah, I know, it's great, isn't it? It's great when you have no opponent. You get loads of mass. So let's imagine we don't get all that mass. Well, too late, we got it. Okay, we get it. Anyway, this is all the opening is these few minutes. Now we're outside, the build is over. So, you know, maybe we don't have, maybe we have half this mass, 250 instead of 500. Whatever. That's same deal. Maybe we can't afford this air factory right now, so we just build it 20 seconds later. Okay, but here's the build. Here's the opening. It's not even that great, but guess what? This'll do fine against anyone that isn't 2000 rated, 2100 rated. So, you know, it's very basic. You know, this guy is expanding, this guy is expanding. Like, you take the mid reclaim because there's mid reclaim. You build some factories, and then when you have no mass, the ACU walks. It's really... There's nothing complicated. Did I really explain anything? Probably not. But, you know. Oh, where do I... where do I go from here? Is dumb a banned word? Hey, look, we have an eco that's gonna win most games. Now we just need... What do we need, guys? What does our economy need right now? Now that we've left to go AFK for a while. What do we need? What should we do right now? Economically. Chrono upgrades, strong suggestion. T3 mechs. Okay. E-storage. Capapa. Build power. Bingo. Little power, not too much. Well. Okay, let's try that. Let's see if this works. Will this work? Is that gonna work? I don't think it's working, guys. I don't think building power is working. So what should we do? Pause my air. Nobody suggested I should pause air. So I didn't. Oh, we should pause air. There we go. Start gun upgrade. Thank you, bully. Hey, look at that. Now you know what I want to do? Unpause air. And now we have an inti. Yay, we have an inti. We can pause our air again. Now we have an inti. Yay. Alright, what should we do after this P-gen is done? What should we do after this P-gen is done? What do I do if my opponent drops 3 rhinos in my main base? Quit. Reclaim the middle. Okay, we're reclaiming the middle with our patrolling ACU. And with this NG or whatever. Okay, we have more factories. We have fax. More power, says 36 and bust. 36 or bust. T2 mech, says Kurtza. Paragon. Sitting at the back of class hoping I don't have to answer a question. One more P-gen, then a factory. Very specific suggestion. When are we going to turn the air factory back on? When exactly are we turning this back on? Touch grass. I don't even know what that means. Okay, let's try the 1 P-gen. And then a factory. Are we leaving air paused? Noah. So we're going for another P-gen. And then a factory, right? Means go outside? Okay. Never, don't need air. Well, why do we have an air factory then? I'm unpausing air. Let's see what happens. Because we can't leave it paused forever. We built an air factory. Let's see. This looks okay. This looks okay, doesn't it? And look, we have a big army. You know, we're doing stuff. Let's not take too much of the map here. We're getting raided. Oh shit. Fuck, a raid. Dead NGs. Let's replace those. Alright. Let's queue some shit. Now what do we build? Another raid. Oh. Exactly, Thomas. Gun upgrade. 2 PGen power storage. 3 factories. Okay. Any other suggestions? 2 or 3 more fact than power for gun, says Noah. Gun upgrade right now. Let's try make the gun upgrade right now, shall we? Let's just move back very slightly. And let's just make the gun. What should we do in our base? T2 land, says Kurtza. I don't think the gun is working. Who thinks the gun was a good idea? And who thinks it was a bad idea? Big power stall. So let's pretend it didn't happen. Okay. We can safely say the gun upgrade was a mistake. We have 71 PGens. Let's cancel the gun. Okay, we're back to normal. What should we do right now? Just build more units. Bingo. What do we need to build more units? Should we build a land factory? Who wants to build a land factory? Anyone want to build a land factory with me? Pause there. No, we fixed the power problems. 3 land factories. 3 land factories. Okay, we could try let's try 3 land factories. Build 2, says Mark. Okay, well let's see how we are after 2, and then let's see how we are after 3. Anything else we should do at this time? We're replacing our mexes. We should have more engineers on the map somewhere. Like this guy. He can go up here, you know. Oh, that's not pretty, is it? Say 3 land factories. What's up, Carrion? Go T2. Do you mean T2 land? Queue more units. Is this working? It's kind of working. Or is it though? Is it working? Micro my auroras, okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Fucking micro god. Need NGs on PGens as well. You want to overcharge. Okay, so we've built 2 factories, right? You built 2 factories. Can we afford this? We can't afford this. Hey, we got raided, Kurtza. We got raided, okay? It was against our will. We didn't choose this. Let's get this reclaim. We can't afford this factory, okay? Right now, we can't afford the number of factories we have. We have built too many factories. Oh, we're getting some reclaim though. We are stalling though. There is, look. Engineer has replaced these. There's an engineer at these mexes. You know what? We're just about balanced. Let's say that's balanced. Thanks to this reclaim. Should we build... What should we build now? What should we build now? Should we build anything? Should we build factories? Gens? I think I know what we should build. T2 mechs on Theta Passage. I don't know. You might get punished. E-storage. Eco. E-storage and walk. Here's what we should do, in my opinion. Let's build an e-storage. Let's build some extra gens. Okay? Now, why do I say that? Now we don't have we won't have this many units in the game because we'll fight and they won't be we'll be dead and stuff. But build an e-storage and we'll build some gens because we want overcharge and we want to make the gun at some point. Can we afford to make more units? No, we can't. Unless there's a big real reclaim field, which could be created in the game, and then you have to react to that differently. But at the moment, you know, with the way our economy is and what's available, okay, we're gonna get raided again. God damn it. Keep getting raided because we're bad at the game. Let's go replace those. Okay, now we have loads of engineers. We don't need that many. It's like assist the air factory or something. Let's make the gun, I guess. Now let's make the gun, yeah? Lord Autismo Genius. So we just walk back. We're allowing our energy bar to fill up. Must also pause land factories. Perhaps we will have to pause some land factories. Let's attack move some NGs. Let's try and make mechs upgrade. Now on this map you want to be real careful about a mechs upgrade, okay? Because we can't afford a mechs upgrade. Let's really rush the shit out of this gun. Let's pause all these factories. Okay? And because we have energy storage, we can afford to actually just be minus 300 power for a long time. Let's pause there. Okay, we're stalling everything. Just take some NGs off. I'll finish the gun normally. Now at this point, you probably won the game already. Okay? If you haven't, you're about to. Because you're Aeon. Yeah, we should have put anti-air in our composition, sure. But again, this is not the point. Now we have the gun, and again, there's nothing else to do in this game except walk into the enemy ACU, abuse the double gun, and abuse our Aurora. And then we win. And we can, you know, start building more stuff again, maybe. Oh, here we go. There we go. How to play Theta Passage. It's, you know. Now, really, the main point of what I was showing you was to see if you can actually make the right decision at the right moment. And obviously, most of you couldn't choose to build the right building at the right time. Okay, this is the main point. Now, the strategy of Theta Passage is really irrelevant in terms of what we're trying to learn. to be honest. I mean, it's not totally irrelevant, but it's the lesser point. Yeah, we simulated some small raids, I guess. We tried to do that a little bit. But, you know, in general, this is not how a real game goes, really, but it's close enough. It's close enough to give you questions about what we should build and what we shouldn't build. Why is it okay to totally stall now and not earlier? Because here we actually have, like, in this case, we already have lots of units. And we didn't totally stall until we were well into the gun upgrade. When we started the gun the first time, we stalled minus 200 and the gun upgrade was like 15% completed. Okay? So it's not possible to just continue making the upgrade because it would take you forever to make it. In this case, we basically made the first upgrade without stalling, and the second upgrade we didn't even stall that much because our mass and energy was actually quite well balanced once we paused all of our factories. And we have units to actually defend us already. So it's less of a problem for us. Yes, having an energy storage is a big boost to making a gun upgrade. Or T2 or something. Always first rate of fire, no. Almost always you'll see people upgrade range first. And speed second. Like 95% of the time. So, any questions? I don't agree. Well, 1v1 me, bro. When is the exam? Soon. Soon. Kahoot password for quizzes like this. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds interesting. Plus leaderboards. Yeah, when do I make a T2 Max? Whenever you want, bully. Whenever you want. Alright. That's all we got. Oh. When I make a T3 Max? As soon as possible. Enemy always has better eco. Please refer to the entirety of this stream to help you with that. It's a quizzing app. Audience responds faster, more correct response to get more points. That sounds very cool. Make T3 Max before you make T2. Now that is big brain shit. Okay. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Doesn't seem too likely that we'll do this very often because we have like half the viewers that we normally do. But certainly it helped some of you to some degree. Thank you very much to Sheep Thief and to the other patrons like 36 or Bust and others, and yeah, that's it. think the time slot did that also. Oh yeah, Friday evening is not the best time. That's true. That's true. So thank you everyone, and we'll see you soon. We might have. I haven't casted the bronze match yet for Spring Invitational, but we'll do that soon. Adios. Goodbye.